Welcome to FreeThinkers Fireside, where we put the human in humanist, one cozy chat at a time. My name is Helen, also known as Hell's Bells. So I had to do reschedule because Autumn Sword, who was supposed to be here, isn't feeling the best. So my wonderful friend AJ from the ACA and the nonprofits, I was like, hey, does someone want to come on my show tonight? So she's here tonight. So I want to say a very special thank you to AJ. So thank you so much for being here, sweetheart. I'm so happy.
I know, I'm excited to be here. Thank you. I had my pajamas. I just taken a shower, and I was like, well, what if I put my makeup on? Maybe I can make it.
That's fine. I was like, I'll see if anybody wants to come on. Otherwise, I was just going to do my show, the show I have planned for Wednesday. But thank you so much. It's appreciated. So for those of the people on the interwebs that do not know you, who are you and what do you do?
I am AJ. Okay, so everybody knows me as AJ.
Sorry, my internet wife's here. Hi, Nancy.
Oh, hi, Kyle. And Scott. I see Scott too.
Hi, Scott. Okay, go ahead. Okay, do your intro now.
Okay, so my channel is called Ways to Human. Wait here, over there. My little sign. And then I started like last year, like a little bit less than a year ago, with the ACA, which you are also part of. And I mean, getting to know everybody. That's been the way I've gotten into the atheist community, doing shows with other people, community. Like everybody's been so welcoming. It's pretty freaking amazing. So I mostly do like oh yeah. Oh, Nancy is in the chat. Hi, Nancy from the
That's my
Post
internet
Sisters.
wife. We're gonna have a ceremony at some point.
I saw that recently. Yeah, there was some talk of sharing a hotel room. I thought that was funny.
I have plans at some point. Nancy and I are going to be in a hotel room together. I'm not going to say what's going to happen, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point.
That is cool.
Anyway, keep going.
Anyway, so as Nancy mentioned, she says I'm the bionic woman, and yes, I am. I have like all kinds of things, like my fancy blood glucose meter, cochlear implant on the other side, my insulin pump, which is on my side right now, so I'm not going to show it. I used to have a nerve stimulator implant for pain, which I got removed like year and a half ago. We'll get into that part because it's part of the vegan journey that we're going to talk about. But I used to have that implant to like stimulate your nerves to help with pain relief for my leg.
Yeah, I have an e-stem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I have chronic nerve pain. It's just not in my body.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's why they call me bionic woman. Oh, and how could I forget the freaking double corneal transplant? So I have like eyes of two different people. If that wasn't creepy enough.
You are the bionic woman.
Hey. I am God's perfect creation. Okay? God's perfect creation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So perfect that he fucked it up.
He had like a salt shaker for health conditions, and he was like, let me just sprinkle the shit, they're talking. He dumped the whole thing on me.
But like the way I look at you, it's better living through chemistry and science. So, that's like, which is more than God has done. So,
Right.
0.1 for science.
Absolutely, for sure.
So, so I had you schedule another day, but now we're going to just talk about this now. So you wanted to talk about veganism. Now, I am not vegan.
Same. I'm not 100% vegan.
But we're trying. I feel like we're making better choices about our diet. We're the way that we're kind of picking and choosing, and how we're how we're purchasing our food, being a little bit more mindful of where it's coming from. As much as you can, as a middle class family can. There's that, but I have cut out red meat because my husband noticed association that when I had pain flare ups. It was after I ate red meat, and I have a chronic nerve condition. And since it's been almost 2 years since I cut it out of my diet, I've seen a huge difference. So, that type of stuff. So why did you want to talk about this topic especially?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. It's like for me when I first began. Oh, gotta fix the girls so they look nice.
Yeah.
If you got them, why not flaunt them? I don't got them, so yeah.
I am amply busted. So thanks my aunts on my dad's side of my family. So
oh, good. Yeah, my family is the opposite.
My mom had no boobies. Mom has no boobies. So
I have no idea what happened to us. I guess it's well, my older sister and I have different fathers, but our mom has nice rack. Okay, but
yeah.
my sister and I are like flat. So I don't know what happened because, like I say, we have different fathers. So it's like, where did that come from? Anyway. But anyways, veganism. Back on topic. Let's try.
We're not gonna talk about boobs anymore, guys. We're gonna talk about food.
Oh yeah. Oh, Nancy said that she went vegan for a while and that she felt good after a few weeks, but couldn't stick to it because she loves eggs and salmon. I
love
feel
eggs.
the same way. Eggs are like one of my weaknesses, and smoked salmon. Smoked salmon is like, oh, why so good. But yeah, like what you were talking about in the beginning. Okay, like we may not be vegan, but I feel like the more I talk about it, especially with like other atheists, like who are a lot kinder and a lot more open and a lot more understanding that other people maybe that see animals as sub like whatever, you can use them for whatever you want. I feel like the more I align with the vegan ideals. But yeah, I haven't quite made the leap yet. I have been what I would consider fully plant based before, but I wouldn't say I was vegan because I never thought about the honey, or I never thought about like, oh hey, maybe this nail polish is tested in animals or something like that, like so
Right.
I would say that I definitely have a lot to learn still about the animal welfare side of veganism. But as far as like the human harm, I have seen it on myself, like the negative effect that it has on your health. I've even seen it on people who are relatively healthy and they go plant based and they still see a lot of the benefits of it. So it's like it's not just because you're sick then you're going to see a benefit from it. It's just like even people who are not sick, who are not trying to heal certain conditions, can still see the benefit. Excuse me. So for me, like just like you, I had a pain condition, but my journey into veganism, or rather to whole foods plant based, started in 2022, I think it was, because I have type 1 diabetes, right? And so my numbers were like way up. Like sometimes I will eat something like small and then my blood sugar will go to like 400, like I don't know, like half a banana, right? And my
Right.
blood sugar will go crazy, and then will just crash and like super low. So I was having like what they call brittle diabetes, which technically is just a term for like, hey, your blood sugars are random, but unless you find the cause, you're going to continue having that. But the way to deal with this brittleness of your diabetes is to find out the root cause. So I started watching this doctor who is also type 1, and he has a channel, a YouTube channel. I hope it's okay to share the name. It's called Mastering
Yeah.
Diabetes. And so I saw some of the videos that he was sharing, and he was like, hey, you know what? Even if you have type 1 diabetes, you can still have insulin resistance, which is what type 2 diabetes is. So let me just make the difference real quick. Type 1 diabetes, your body doesn't make insulin, so it can't
Mhm.
use it because it doesn't make it. Type 2, your cells cannot absorb the insulin that your body is producing, so it's making a lot of insulin to be like, hey, let me in your cells, and your cells are just clogged up, and they're like, no, you're not coming in. So,
Okay.
but he was like, but if even if you are a type 1, you can still have insulin resistance. So in order to remove that resistance, you have to, go to the source, which is your diet. So apparently, like the higher fat diet you have, the more your cells get clogged up, and so the insulin is not able to come in. So I was like, all right, you know what? It sounds legit. So I did a little bit of my own, like looking up. Okay, is this for real? Like, is this biologically correct? So I read a bunch of like medical stuff, and yeah,
Mhm.
it was correct. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. So I ditched all the animal products, milk, meat, eggs, everything, and just
Right.
went to like non-processed foods, also like no fried foods, no like sugary snacks or like chips and all that stuff, even though it can be vegan, like say Oreo cookies are vegan, right? But it's a junk food. And so I was like, I tried this, and immediately my levels started to like come way down. Like I would eat something that I would eat before and spike really high, and then
Mhm.
now it wasn't spiking. I was able to eat a bunch of fruit that before I couldn't even. Like I said, I couldn't even have a banana because it was like crazy high blood sugar.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is super weird. I was like, okay, let me try this. So one day I went and I tried a a plain potato. Okay, no fats, no butter, no cheese or anything like that. And my blood sugar was great. And this was a potato, which is like they tell you not to eat too much of when you're diabetic. Um, and then the next day, I was like, I'm gonna try the exact same size at the same time of potato, but I'm gonna put a bunch of butter and a bunch of cheese on it. And what do you know? My blood sugar just went up like crazy. And I was like, it's the same food, except the difference was like the amount of fat that I was eating with it. So I was like, okay, it totally makes sense. So I went like whole foods plant based for like maybe like a year, and I was
Mhm.
doing great. But then I had the eye surgeries, and I had some other health stuff that was going on with my heart. And my doctor
Mhm.
was like, because I was telling my doctor, I think I have like these palpitations, like when you feel your heartbeat on your neck and stuff, kind of like a bubble bursting. I was like,
Mhm.
I think it happens when I eat meat. And he was like, nah, I don't think so. I was like, trust me. So he's like, all right, we'll put a heart monitor on you, but you need to go back to eating like your normal diet. So I went back to eating meat and cheese and butter and what again the palpitations started going crazy again. So I was like, I mean, and they had it on the record at least. But as the time went on, I kept having like I had to have both of my eye surgeries, and there was just a lot going on. So I was like having a hard time sticking with the plant based diet because it's a lot more prep, right? Like you have to make sure
Yeah.
that you're hitting your the right amount of protein and the right amount of whatever else you need to make sure you're eating well. Um, a little bit more like cooking and stuff like that, rather than if you were to grab a frozen TV dinner and just stick it in the microwave. So that was one of the reasons why I kind of went back to the standard American diet. But through this process, I noticed that I think it was maybe like a month or two. No, but it was probably like a month right after I went like fully plant based, like really strict. At that time, I was getting like nerve injections for the pain, and I was like sometimes in crutches and sometimes with a cane. At times, it would like spread to my other leg, so I had to use a wheelchair. And within a month, it was like my pain was like so low that I stopped using like all the assistive devices, and I had to turn off the nerve stimulator because it was like making like it was pretty much like I would turn it down so low that it was almost as if it was off. So I turned it off, and then when I told my doctor, and he was like, I was like, why do you not tell people that this can help with your pain, or like, did you know that it could? And he was like, well, because people would rather have a pill because it's quicker and it's easier than having to change your diet and like your eating habits when you go out and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, like, okay. I wish you'd told me. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
crazy.
funny. Like it, like like my husband just happened to notice that it correlated, and then we just cut it out, and then I was like, oh, look at that. Because when I do eat red meat occasionally, and I know that my pain's gonna flare up. I just know it, and it does. It might not flare up towards it's extreme before, but I can definitely feel the difference. And it's just like, yeah, there it is. Not so much like I can eat chicken and fish fine. But the red meat, no. Which the way I'm looking at them, my heart's probably really happy about that too. So,
I'm sure.
yeah, so I'll take it. And I don't really like pork. So I don't really eat pork in my diet. I just like I really like chicken and I really like fish. I just do. I'm not I'll admit it. I'll own it. And I love cheese. Though I've limited my cheese because as I've gotten older, I've become lactose intolerant. That's fun. I never had that before when I was younger. But you hit your late 40s, my body's like, well, fuck you, Helen. Like,
you don't need cheese. It was like,
I love cheese.
I know,
but I
but
then
that
I have to limit.
yeah, that's a funny thing that people always like when they hear about veganism and they see you buying like meat replacements or trying to, I don't know, like get a vegan burger or a vegan chicken or something, and they're like, well, why are you eating things that are like meat if you don't want to eat meat? Well, because I like meat. I never said I didn't like meat. so
Like
so
I do
yeah,
like the flavor of it.
what, like if I find something that's gonna be less harmful to an animal, but it tastes the same and the texture is the same and it tricks my brain into thinking it's the same, then yeah, I'm gonna go with it, right?
Yeah, cheese. Yeah, it's great with wine. See, cheese and wine and dark chocolate.
That's good.
Oh,
I am not giving up my dark chocolate. Sorry. No, but
yeah,
there's
I'm
a lot
not.
of vegan chocolates at least because
There's
chocolate.
and it's good. And like I think also too people like if you're before this new way of looking at factory farming and looking at the downsides of a lot of food, and people like now like you can eat a lot of vegan food. Like Todd we made sandwiches for dinner tonight, and my husband like heated up like the Morningstar veggie bacon to put on, it's not the same as bacon, but it mimics it, and it's like, well, it's not going to taste exactly this. It's not going to have the same texture because it's a different product. But if you can get close, that's the whole point. Like I love Beyond Burgers. They're not a burger, but it's not red meat. They're really, really good.
Pretty damn
Because now
close,
the
yeah.
industry is realizing people that eat plant-based food at least want it to taste fucking good, because food is a pleasure.
Yeah, like I love those little laughing cow little wedges of cheese.
Oh, those are so good.
So I found the plant-based ones and they're like you can't really tell the difference. So
See, like the only thing is though, we've tried a bunch of vegan cheese. It all sucks. I'll try the Laughing Cow one, but every single vegan cheese we tried, I'm like, not
yeah,
the same. I need some milk.
it doesn't melt the same. Yeah.
It doesn't melt
I
the
think
same, and it doesn't. It almost, when we bought it, had almost like a chemical taste to it. It just didn't. And it was supposed to be one of the best ones on the market. And we were, when you had it for like, we tried to make a like pizza with it, and it was like, whoa.
okay, for pizza, there is one. And I wish I could remember what the name was, but it comes in a bottle. Okay, it's like a milk bottle, like a small milk bottle, and it's kind of thick, and you pour it on, and then you bake it. And when you bake it, it's like the chemical reaction or whatever solidifies it, and it's just like mozzarella cheese. I thought it was gonna suck, but it actually kind of worked, and I was really surprised at the texture because it wasn't liquid,
Huh.
and I was like, what is it? What is this, magic or something?
Yeah, because we tried a bunch of them and they all like the cheese. We were just like, nope, we'll just eat regular cheese. It's fine. And eggs become bougie, so we don't eat eggs as much as we like.
Eggs are for the millionaires now.
Yeah, that's right. It's like you're bougie if you like. Side note. So me and my friends were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and like my friend goes, okay, like my friend's a DM is like, hey, in this town, gold doesn't really have any worth its products, and so my friends just they're like, my character puts down eggs. And we're like, ooh, like bougie, like
You're
fancy with your eggs,
right? That's so funny. Oh man.
Who would have thought that eggs would become the food of the rich people in our dystopia?
Now they're a commodity now. Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, I don't want to talk about the existential crisis that we're all living in. Let's talk about.
Let's get back on topic.
So with your health conditions, did you like, have you noticed that if when you're having weeks that you're doing all plant-based, you feel a lot better, and then when you start introducing like cheese and butter back in, especially because like I don't see a huge amount of difference because I don't have the same health conditions that you do, but like I'm just kind of curious, like if you've noticed that there's plus my hormones are all out of whack right now, so.
Yeah, let me tell you about my hormones. Okay. So before I went plant-based, there was a little bit of concern because there were two specific levels. One is called prolactin, and one is called IGF-1. And so the prolactin is kind of like a sex-related hormone or something like that. Like your sexual organs produce, like when you're pregnant, it's higher and stuff like that, right? And obviously, I wasn't. And then your IGF-1 is usually related to having cancer. Like people who have cancer have that higher level of that. Like, and having both of them at the same time was like indication that there could potentially be something in the brain, because that's where the prolactin is produced in your brain. So my doctor was kind of worried, but she was like, it's probably just like one of your mysterious shit that you have going on. So she never really did much about it. And we couldn't do a brain scan because I have my cochlear implant. So when they tried to do a CT scan, there was such a big shadow from it that it was pretty useless to do that. So anyway, within a month or so of beginning the full plant-based diet, I went back to have some repeat tests because I also had high cholesterol and some other random stuff that was out of whack, and they came back to normal. It was like within a month. Like I've been fighting my cholesterol for like 10 freaking years. Okay. Like my doctor was like, it must be genetic because like no matter how you change your diet, if you eat less meat or if you eat, lower fat while eating animal products. I was always eating a lot of cheese. Anyway, so it was like, all right, that has to be the culprit, right? And so when I did some of my research on whether it was connected to eating animal products, and yeah, it seems like IGF-1 can be related to that as well as to the cancer. But so yeah, so my levels came back to normal, and I was freaking amazed because, like I said, I've been fighting these levels for years. Another thing, well, like I said, the pain got better. I also have chronic kidney stones. Oh, hey, John. Good to see you there. So I also had chronic kidney stones from high oxalate. So when I went plant based, the problem is that a lot of the plant based foods have high
Mhm,
oxalate, and the oxalates can cause damage to many systems in your body, like the organs and stuff. And
mhm.
so my whenever that's why when you have kidney stones, they tell you not to eat spinach, for example, right? Spinach is really high in oxalate. Potatoes, tofu, beans, all of the main staples of a plant-based diet have very high oxalate. So my doctor was like, well, if you're gonna go plant-based, what are you gonna eat? And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna ignore all the oxalate levels, and we'll just try
I'm
it
just gonna
out.
I'm gonna ignore it.
we'll, we'll, we're
Let's see how it
experimenting here, okay?
goes. I'll
Like,
I'll do a risk.
right? Like, I'll be my own science, my own
I'll be my own scientist.
guinea
I'm
pig.
gonna be my own
Yeah,
case study.
I'll be the scientist and the guinea pig, okay?
Right.
So
To be fair, like that's the best way if you're gonna do it.
I'll in. So again, I think I used to have kidney stones like every few months or so, sometimes more often. Sometimes I don't have to go to the hospital because they just like refuse to come out. I've had like laser surgery to remove some of them, which was horrible. And
My friends had it. My friend gets chronic kidney stones. Even if he's cut out so much stuff from his diet and it's just genetic. He
yeah,
doesn't yeah, he gets them frequently. Um it's a genetic thing with him, and he's had to get like this laser surgery to break them up. And I'm like, that sounds horrible. He's like, it sucks a lot.
okay. It
Yeah.
sounds really similar because like your kidneys actually become calcified, so they're like rock hard basically. So that's what happened to me. So but in like the whole year that I was completely whole food plant based, a lot of my levels that were off came almost to normal. They weren't perfect, and there were some of them that were still bad, and that's why my doctor was like, well, I think that it might be genetic, but at least I didn't get any kidney stones during that time. I was like, well, that it doesn't make sense because I should be getting more stones because I'm eating more oxalate high foods. So yeah, but the fact that you're not eating animal products is what helps. Oh, that sucks. But anyways, yeah, like your friend.
I had a UTI last month, and I had my
Oh, I
first kidney
remember.
stone.
Oh,
My daughter's like, it's probably microscopic, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm in so much pain right now. And she's like, oh no, she's like, even when they're that small, they hurt. And I was just like, I'm like, I want to rip my kidneys out of my body and throw them in the trash.
do you want to try it? Do you want to try having a
No,
stone?
I
Uh,
don't. Why?
right.
God's perfect design, everybody. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, like after many years, my doctor was like, you know what? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing that we're doing is really helping enough. So, I think that we might need to do some genetic testing. And, like, it just came up like a few months ago that I do have a genetic condition where it starts in your liver, like your liver doesn't produce certain enzymes that break down the oxalate, so my body itself produces a lot of oxalate, and that's what made my kidneys solidify and break up all these random stones. So hopefully we are hoping that there is a medication that they can give people with that specific genetic mutation that can help. So I'm kind of in the process of getting the full diagnosis because they need to do a little bit further testing and stuff. It's confirmed, but they just need to see which one it is to determine which one of the two medications that they have
Right.
available. So to get the proper treatment. Yeah, but anyways, it sucks. But the plant-based diet helps seems to be helping with some of the other levels that were not being helped by anything else. So that's another good thing, right? Um, and then I take like steroids because yeah, my body also doesn't make cortisol or insulin. It's like all the failures. Um, but I've noticed that when I went plant based, um, obviously I'm not ever going to be able to come off all of these medications, but I did require less of it. And obviously, the steroids make you gain a lot of weight, and plant based diet helped with that too. I felt like more energy. With less pain, I definitely am able to like exercise more, which I wasn't able to do before. Obviously when I was like in freaking crutches and stuff. So now we can like hike or walk or all that, fun. So it's been like really really helpful overall. Like I don't regret it at all. And well, I do sometimes fall off the wagon and like eat meat or eat animal products. It's like I try to I try to remind myself why it's good for me and why the immediate dopamine release of eating some fried chicken may not be worth it. It doesn't always work. So, but that's why I like to have like more conversations with full blown vegans because it helps me look at it from a different perspective aside from just my own personal health benefit. Like okay, what is this doing for the environment if I eat less meat, or what is this doing for like other animals, or why do we like objectively then, right? When I
Mhm.
met him at the library, at the back tour last year, we sat down and he talked to me and my kid about veganism, and he was telling me that he became a vegan when his little kitty that he adopted became sick. And he was like, well, why do I care so much about this cat, but I don't care about a cow,
As I
right,
say,
or
her and pet my cat.
chicken.
Mhm.
Oh, I was wondering if that's what you were doing,
Yeah, it's
because you were like,
this is
oh,
catnip.
oh, so
Yeah,
pretty.
she's like, Mom, I don't want to be held. Yeah, she's like, fuck
Uh,
you. She was okay until I picked her up, and then now she's like, fuck you.
she's like,
I had
screw
to let
you,
her out. I'm gonna keep
vegans.
talking. I just gotta let her out of the bedroom. All
Oh,
right,
okay,
go.
okay.
Where's Daddy?
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
let's
Nancy
and then I got
says,
a cat behind, and then Bellatrix is behind me on the bed. So I
"Oh,
have 4 cats in this house. So
yeah, we had four, but unfortunately, we had to put one down like a couple of weeks ago, like the day before Dan's
I hate
wedding.
that.
Actually, it was so sad.
I mm.
But he was like 20,
Let's
so
not let's not
he
talk
lived a
about our
long
cat
life.
trauma. Okay. Okay, let's talk. Okay, so you were talking to Dan about like,
anyways,
hey,
anyways,
and his
yeah,
philosophical like realization of why he was trying to well, why do I care about this animal so much? But what
but
about all the other animals? You
yeah,
know,
so that's when he started like reading and like learning about veganism and like the vegan ideals and why they did what they did, and how humans, especially religious humans, put other humans above all other sentient animals, right? And if you really think about it, all animals can have the ability to think. They may not be able to reason the same way that humans do. Like, I don't know, they may not have like compassion or empathy or something like that. But they can still think. They can still feel. And I don't know. I have a cat I'm sorry, a dog that uh, from my perspective, she's jealous. Okay, like I see her having this emotion of jealousy. Like if I am in front of her and I'm petting one of my other dogs or cats, she
oh
will,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, like, and the other ones don't do that. And it's like, okay, so this one has a different personality and she has emotions that may not be the same way that they are for humans, but she's feeling something, right? Like she's feeling this thing, like her owner is giving somebody else attention, and she doesn't like that. So, I don't know. If you look at videos of like cows, they do similar things. Like they like to be, I don't know, have their neck scratched or like they're like play with a freaking ball. I've seen Yeah, that's so
Thank
true.
you, Annie.
Thank you. Like you see them play and like I don't know, be playful or like seek other animals' company. So like do things that I'm not trying to humanize them, uh, but
Well, you're
anthropomorphize
anthropomorph
and anthropomorphize.
anthropomorphous. That's a word. I know words. I went to college.
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
but
I knew the
but
word,
we
but
tend
I'm
to because like I call my animals my fur babies.
yeah.
And like when me and my husband were choosing our house last year when we figured out where we were going to move, we wouldn't move anywhere where we couldn't take our cats. Because like to us it's like abandoning your child, like that would like that the equivalent of that would be traumatizing to us to like not bring our like not have our cats part of our family.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like they become part of your family. And just like we love them, if they become separated from us, they will suffer too. Like
Yeah,
if you leave your dog for like 3 days at somebody else's house and then you come back, it's gonna go freaking insane, right?
right.
And cats may not show it that the same way, but
Oh, mine knew.
I like to think they miss us.
Well, my
I
cats,
pretend.
like when we've gone away, when we come home, they ignore us. They're like, "Fuck you! You left me for a week," and then they're like, "Okay, I'm happy to see you." Like, but it's not the same. Like when you come home from work, like they're kind of excited to see me. If we are gone more than like a couple days, my cats are like, "Fuck you! I hate you! You were gone." Like they get all side eyed.
Right? Yeah. They're like, oh, you're back.
You're like,
So John says that animals may have less response, possible less pain response. That you hit a human and they cry for days. Um, Humans are big as babies. Okay, okay. Listen. I have seen an adult have open heart surgery, and they'll be down for like 2 weeks. And like me, I had back surgery, and I was freaking crying. Like my mom had to like literally pick me up off the bed. My baby at 11 weeks old had open heart surgery, had like the chest cracked open and put back together,
yeah,
and like they were off their sedation within a day, and like just moving around like literally the next day. Obviously they didn't want them to because of like they didn't want them to rip anything open, right? But like you could tell they were like in very little pain. I don't know about that.
I
um,
think, well, like especially cats, they hide their pain because they in the wild, if they're seen to be vulnerable, they're
yeah.
more likely to be. So they might be in pain, but they'll act like they're not. Dogs
And
will
I
let you know. Dogs will let you know
yeah.
if they're in pain.
uh yeah, sometimes. Okay, here's a
I mean,
anecdote.
I don't
Okay,
have a
so
dog.
just
Like I don't have
oh
dogs. I have cats.
uh,
So,
okay, so I have two dogs, and so the same dog had two different experiences with pain. So when she was found, they had her in a shelter where obviously there were other dogs and there were a lot of people, a lot of commotion, a lot of stress, and they say that
yeah,
for 2 days nobody realized that she was hurt. And then somebody was like, well, she looks like she's in pain, and then the X-rays, and she had both of her back legs were fractured, okay, and her pelvis
oh,
was fractured. So they did surgery on her, and they wanted
baby.
to find yeah. So they did surgery on one of the legs, and they wanted to find a foster, me. So I took her in and I put her in a crate in a quiet place, like in a more safe space. I made sure to like pet her and give her treats and gain her trust. And you could tell that she was in a lot of pain. So it was like in a place where she felt safe, just like you said, she was more open to expressing her pain. To whereas where she was in this public um, place with all these other dogs and all these other people, she felt like it will be threatening to her if she showed her pain. And I don't know if that's a reasoning thing. Maybe not, but it's a way. Maybe it's like a defense mechanism, or maybe it's like instinct, whatever whatever it is, this animal is feeling emotions, it's feeling pain, it has pain receptors. So I don't know. Um, Obviously, I'm not an expert, and I'm not saying that this is anybody's expert opinion. But from what I have read or learned, yeah, definitely animals do have a lot of the same type of nerve nervous systems that we have. They have pain receptors. They definitely feel pain. Like, imagine if you try to do a surgery on a dog without um, anesthesia. Yeah, I don't think you could do that. You will definitely see that
No,
dog
no.
having pain.
Well, I think also too, but like, I mean, people still, I don't think people still have this perception, but they used to, that animals didn't feel pain, you know. And I'm like, I don't know why you would think that, but because they, like, we can express pain, I can use my words. Animals can't, but there's definitely behaviors animals do. Um, like our cat Grumpy, which is my oldest's cat, but I'm grandma, and he has a little bit of dysplasia in his hind legs, and if you pet him and he's feeling particularly sensitive, he hisses, because
Oh,
he's in pain. It's just because you don't mean to hurt him, you know but he's letting you know, hey, please don't pet me there, that fucking hurts, don't do that.
yeah.
you
There's
know
there's two things there. Like, people equate the ability to reason with consciousness, which are not the
Mhm.
same thing. And they also
Right.
equate the ability to speak with communication, which again are not the same. I'm deaf and
Mhm.
I could use sign language to communicate without using spoken words, right? So I am still
Mhm.
communicating. And same with animals, right? Like, they have different ways of communicating that maybe we don't understand, but it doesn't mean they're not communicating. And again, same thing with reasoning versus consciousness. Like, we are all conscious. Like, well, the
Mhm.
majority of, I would say, mammals, at least, let's not go into insects and all of that, but like mammals at the very least have their are conscious animals. They are sentient animals. And yeah, even though they may have different ways of reasoning or different ways, I guess I could say different levels of reasoning, maybe,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that they don't. And it doesn't mean that they don't feel, that they don't have emotions, or that they don't have the ability to you know show their pain, or like not show their pain.
Well, and I think, like, and this is kind of like, I like, we understand, like, I know that factory farming is terrible, and I've seen all the videos that will make you cry. I know it exists, but I also know that I'm selfish.
Mhm.
Like, I know that I am. Like, I really like cheese and I like chicken. Like, I'm just gonna own it, rather than say, like, it's not that bad, because people will do all these, like, mental gymnastics to justify it themselves. I'm selfish.
Yeah.
And I think admitting that is a little bit more honest than saying, like, um try to do, like, some kind of mental gymnastics to make it fucking work in my brain, so I don't feel as guilty, because I feel a little bit of guilt. But I also, my own pleasure, um at certain times, is more important to me than my altruistic self. So, and I think that's more, but also at the same time, I do think that we as human beings can do better. Like, obviously, like, this is one of, like, I don't agree. Yes, I want to live in a world where, animals aren't being harmed, and, because like, I'm very selective. Like, I'm selective. Like, I don't eat veal because I don't like the way baby cows are treated to make veal. But a big cow.
I
I
get
don't eat
that.
rabbit anymore, but like, we make up these, like, rules in our head about, like, what kind of products we consume. You know, like, here we don't eat um dolphins or whales, or sharks, but
Mhm.
in other parts of the world we do, and we make these justifications based on scientific research, about, like, dolphins and whales are mammals, and sharks are, I don't know, like we put like things in special categories, but for some reason we don't talk about that about cows or chickens, you know? And like my friend Cara was telling me what they do to adult cows, and they take away the babies, like the calves. So the mother will go into estrus again, and so they'll start producing more milk, and then they'll want to breed and make a new baby cow, and it puts the cow through emotional distress for them to take away their baby cow. It's cruel. It's terrible. And the fact that they do that, it's fucked up. Because like as a parent, you like recognize that it's like, holy shit, man, like the cow has emotions. Like, I'm like, don't take
and you
away
hear them. Yeah, like there's videos of cows, like they literally show them taking away their baby, and the mother cow is just like desperately like screaming, like crying, like they're feeling, they're having like these really strong emotions. But I think, before I was an atheist, I didn't really think about this stuff. Like veganism was like, I was like the typical person that will hear the word vegan and I will be like, roll my eyes and be like, oh, these weirdos. but I really feel like being an atheist has opened up my eyes a lot, and I feel like it has a parallel to how people are indoctrinated into a religion from childhood to how we are indoctrinated into eating meat from childhood. Because when you're a little kid, you start being given all these animal products and normalizing eating them. Imagine if we started with our kids from the beginning to make sure that they understand that these animals feel pain, that they are having emotions, that they are able to feel and all of this. Then when someone reaches adulthood, they will be able to reason a lot better to say, I don't want to eat meat. That's not right. um, and it's kind of like the same, like I said, with atheism. Like if you're raised in an atheist home to be like, okay, you know what, our religions are myths, they're all the same, then you reach adulthood and you have the same conclusion. So I think critical thinking definitely has a lot to do with the way that we deconstruct from our
Sorry, I feel the same way. I love octopus. Like I think there's two. Like I think like occupy, is occupy the plural of octopuses? I thought it was octopuses.
I think they're both correct, actually. Yeah, I saw something about this recently.
What is the plural of octopus?
I was like, that sounds weird, but apparently it's right.
What is the plural of octopus? These are the things I gotta know.
I know, right? We have to find the solve the
I have to ask my robot overlord. But I kind of octopuses is the standard English plural. Octopi is technically not Greek, but people think it is. It's based on Latin rules, and octopods is ultra accurate but rare. So octopods is the actual. Yeah. So if you want to sound fancy.
I know that's how
Thank
Nancy.
You, ChatGPT.
Yeah, how Nancy put it in the chat. That's how it sounds to me in my head when you say octopuses.
Octopuses, yeah. It's called like octopusy. So
I know octopods.
Because I'm a sophomore boy all the time. But like getting back to the topic, like because you're indoctrinated into all sorts of stuff, living in American culture, you're indoctrinated into, that sort of like America's the best. And, and if you're white, like white people are the best, and, eating, and then like the standard American diet, isn't the best, but you're indoctrinated into it. And I think that once, not only if you're an atheist, but if you're skeptical and you're looking at everything as a system, it's like, well, why do I eat this way? Why do I have these certain perceptions? Why do I, is this how it really is? Or this was just a system that I was born into that I never questioned?
Yeah, exactly.
and
That's the way I feel it is.
because
Sorry, I
like,
don't
and
know
you
if
can
you were
recognize it.
continuing.
No, I was just saying that, like, now that, and those of us that have become skeptics, where we look at everything, or like, is this really true, or is this just a thing I was told
Right,
all the
that's what
time?
I. So I've been in a couple of conversations on live shows about veganism, and some of them I was in it, and some of them I was in the side chat, and I noticed that a lot of the atheists were kind of being really mean to the vegans talking about it, and I was a little bit surprised because I was like, okay, look, this is a community of people who pride themselves in critical thinking and reasoning and skepticism. So we have to look at things that may be a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, like it may be uncomfortable to think about, like you described, the way that a mother cow has their baby taken away in order for you to have cheese with your
So
wine,
sad.
right? And I think that a lot of us, myself included, one of my problems is that I've heard you mention this before, like object permanence and issue of object permanence, right? Like if it's not in
Mhm.
front of me, I'm not thinking about it. And if the cheese is in front of me, I'm not thinking about this came from the cow. I'm just like, oh, that's delicious. you know?
Yeah,
So
because
like
cheese is amazing.
yeah, so like sometimes I have a hard time putting into perspective, like, hey, look, if you eat this Oreo cookie, even though it's vegan, like it's bad for your health. Like my mind's like not thinking about it. It's just like, oh, that crunch, oh, that cream, you know. And
Mm.
it's like, damn it, brain, why can't you work a little bit better? remember the reasons, yeah. So and I think that is one of the ways that this sort of indoctrination works, because it makes you not think about it. So, like for example, you're a little kid, you're given chicken nuggets, and yeah, sure, they have the word chicken on it, but it doesn't look
Certain-
anything like a chicken or like meat. So you're just like eating it
Have
because
you
it
ever
tastes
seen a chicken
good.
nugget in its natural state when it's not breaded and fried?
Oh, I'm sure
It's
it's horrible.
disgusting.
Probably, yeah.
You can Google it. It's disgusting.
I bet. Hot
That's why,
dogs,
and
yeah.
that's why you gotta fry it, and you have to have it with sweet and sour sauce.
Right, yeah, that's probably why you gotta dip it in something to taste better. Because, like, if you take
I
the
don't like
breading out,
like
it's
sidebar.
stupid.
Like the McDonald's chicken nuggets only taste good with sauce. They do not taste good on their own because I don't like. But that's just me. I don't like the breading. But if I put honey, their sweet and sour sauce is the shit, and if I put it in the sweet and sour sauce, it's amazing. So,
Oh, yeah, I was
like,
really sad
if
when.
Chick-fil-A was not terrible, their their chicken nuggets with their Polynesian sauce is the shit, and the hatred makes it yummy. So, but I don't eat Chick-fil-A anymore because I'm like, you don't think I should exist and have rights. So,
I know,
but
like, their homophobia is like the extra
yeah, it's
flavor right
like I
there.
can't. That's the thing about like the thing is though is that like you pointed out about like the object permanence. I think also too because like uh queer things is very personal to me because it affects me and affects like
Yeah.
so many of people in my friend group and the people that I'm very close to that I'm like I can't give you money, but cheese. Like, I'm not thinking about the cow. I'm thinking about like,
But
ooh, cheese.
yeah, but it's like,
Because there's only so much your brain can compartmentalize.
yeah, and also, like, every single person cannot advocate for every single cause. So,
Right.
like, it's totally fine for you to pick the ones that are important to you. It totally is. And if it's not veganism, like, if veganism is like under LGBTQ rights, yeah, I mean, that's that's probably right. That's
Yeah,
probably how it
they're like,
should be.
no. Oh, you don't get my money. But also, if you're a company that supports, it's like, yeah, I take my money. Like, it's but that's the thing about like object permanence. Like, I don't think about things unless they're in front of me, or I just
Or
don't
like
because
sugar.
my brain doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
it's fleeting because like it's constantly seeking dopamine, so because it doesn't regulate itself very well, so like I'm not thinking about it all the time, but when I sit there and think about it, I'm just like,
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
wow. Like I
Yeah.
just said to the husband, I said, I'm like, I want to try a plant-based diet to kind of see if it helps with my perimenopause. I told him because he'll remind me and we'll do it together. Because if I'm allowed to do it just by myself, I'll forget.
I know it's really hard. That's another really, really hard part. It's like social pressure.
Yeah.
Not just like, okay, like my family, my husband doesn't eat plant based, and my kid doesn't eat plant based. My kid's autistic, ADHD, OCD. So their diet is like, I can count it on maybe one hand. So like I have to make the kid a meal, the husband a meal, and then me a meal. So sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I'll just make something that at least the husband and I can eat, so I don't have to make three different things. And it usually end up being something that has either
My
cheese or meat.
oldest my oldest will eat what we eat. Like they'll eat a plant based. They don't care. My roommate, I'll be like, listen, I'll be like, if you want, you're on your own. You're gonna be on your own because like they and I don't poo poo on people for eating meat. Like that, like what's the point in that? Like. Like, am I going to shame you? like, unless that's
Yeah.
your kink, I'm not going to shame you if you like to eat hot dogs. Um, just saying. But also at the same time, I think that like if you have the family support, it makes it so much easier because everybody's eating the same thing. You're just kind of like, okay, like the only thing I'm not giving up is cheese. I'm sorry, I'm not giving it up. It's not happening.
Yeah, I remember one
I can
time
give up a lot.
yeah. So I remember one time I wanted to go to a vegan restaurant for my birthday, and my husband was up for it, like he was cool with it, and my kid too. And then I invited the family, and only like one person showed up because everybody else was like they didn't want to eat vegan food. And then the one that showed up was like loved it, and he was like, "I'll go back there." Like I didn't even notice it was vegan food, you know. So it's like it's kind of weird. So we always
Again, vegan food is
yeah.
really good. Like there's this place in town that all they have is vegan options, and they do a really awesome nacho, and they also do like this plant-based burger that is fucking insane. It's so good. And also they do vegan cheese, and I don't know how they do it because the vegan cheese is actually fucking good. I don't know how it happens. It actually tastes like cheddar. I don't know what it is. It's
Oh,
magic.
yeah, this place too. It was like a queso type thing. They use the
Yeah.
beer. Okay,
Oh, it's so good.
I
I don't know what
don't
it
know what
is.
it. Yeah, me neither. I'm not
Because I'm like,
sure.
it's magic. I don't know what you did, but you made the cheese taste like cheese. And
Yeah.
because usually when I have vegan cheese, I'm like, this is disgusting. And they figured it out. It's magic. Um, like, and there's some things that like if they like the vegan bread because they don't use any eggs or anything, it doesn't have the same texture because it just doesn't have the egg product and milk added to it, so it's a little different, but it's still like I don't hate it, I'm like it's fine. Like you just have to like adjust your expectations.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh, Nancy said Thai food is excellent for vegan. Yeah, I love Thai food.
We eat a lot of Thai in this house. My husband makes Thai
Yeah.
food. We eat, like, and the thing is, though, like, this is not a jump for us to really go back to plant based because we did for a little bit, and then with the move and everything, we just started eating animal product again. If I tell him like I want to go back to plant based, he'll be like, okay, like, it's not hard for us to make the jump.
Yeah.
Because like I really want to see if it helps with my hormone levels. Because this perimenopause thing, I'm not digging it very much. Like I just don't want like not if I didn't have nice sweats, that'd be great.
Oh man, I'm not
You've
looking
not
forward to
hit
that.
perimenopause yet. It's fun. Let me
I
tell
haven't.
you.
I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. Yeah, no, but
I'm 48.
like,
I started going through it last year. So fuck
oh,
it.
okay. I'm turning 40 this year.
Yeah,
40.
just wait. This way, honey. It's fine.
Fun.
But I'm one of these rare people that I'm actually looking forward to menopause because I don't want my period anymore. Like I'm actually looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
I
Like
know
I'm
that part.
like oh you're gonna go through the change. I'm like yeah I'm gonna have a couple of years of being a cranky bitch, but I go at the end, like oh my god
Freedom.
am I menstruating? Right, and that's also the thing too about like when I noticed when I was on plant-based, my periods were not as like the cramping and so much. Like I don't consume any dairy when I'm menstruating, and it really does help because it helps with your those artificial hormones that are in a lot of dairy products like or natural hormones I should say because
Yeah.
it comes from cows. It fucks with the levels, and if you don't consume dairy when you're on your period,
Wow. Okay.
it
I'll
really
definitely keep
helps.
that in mind. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, even on plant based, I still had a problem of like really painful periods, but um, at least they like stabilized in the sense that they started coming like on time. Because I used to have like sometimes there'll be like 60-day cycles, and I will always be like pulling out the pregnancy test to make sure I wasn't like But it was just like no, it wasn't. It was just like my periods was just like super long. So like damn.
Mine are shorter, but they're more intense now. Like they used to be 5 days. Now we're at 4. The first 2 days I want to rip out my uterus, and then the last 2 days kind of tapers off, and then it's done. Um, or there's some months where I'm in very little pain, even though like it's still uncomfortable, and so it kind. But I've noticed like over the past year, 2 years, there's been like this sort of weird fluctuation, and I was just like, wow, this is strange. And then I told my gynecologist like, well, you're going through perimenopause.
That
It's
makes
gonna be
sense.
fucking weird. And he's like, you might have months where you don't get one. And I was like, oh no.
Uh, yeah, no, mine were like this for
John,
like
John, listen, I
ages.
go, you're just gonna have to deal with women, talking about their periods, man. You
Learn
came to my
about it.
screen. You came to my screen,
I
we're
mean,
gonna talk about menstrual cycles.
poor
It's a
dad.
natural process.
Let's talk about Indian food then. Let's talk about Indian food. Indian food. I
Yeah, we'll talk
discovered
about we
Indian
want to talk
food.
about Indian food because Indian food is amazing.
Like
So, like, okay,
my
like back on. I'm gonna actually bring this back on topic. I'm gonna swing it around. I'm gonna do
yeah,
it. Okay, okay.
like
So do you think? Because getting back to like us as like skeptics and looking at certain ideas we're indoctrinated into even unconsciously because like we know I also think too this is a little different because like food exists and also we just see it as fuel a lot of the times like it's definitely a pleasure like I like to eat, it's fun, it makes me feel good, but also at the same time I think especially living in the culture that we do, it's just a matter of like the consumption attitude, especially if you're living in capitalism. It kind of all ties together, rather it being like this one thing like you're just your diet. It ties into so much other stuff, and especially if you're really raised religious, it's also this idea that we the people rule over the earth henceforth rather than we are just a part of it.
yeah, that we came first. So bye, John. Thank you for listening to us talking about our
Bye.
periods.
Bye, honey. I'll see you later. Crystal's here. Hi, honey.
Oh yeah, I
So,
mean,
like,
like
do you
it
like?
definitely comes from. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No,
You asked
no.
the question.
I was piggybacking off of my sip. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, same thing that you were talking about. Like I feel like when it comes to people who are religious, they definitely see humans as being above every other species, and that we are allowed to use animals in whatever shape or form we want. But it is also a little bit confusing the more I think about it, right? Like I had never considered these type of things before. But for example, if you think about someone sees a dog being kicked on the street, and immediately you're gonna go crazy and you might punch the person and take away the dog. But if you see a cow being taken into the slaughterhouse, you're not gonna have the same reaction. And there is like a sort of like a cognitive dissonance between how we think about domesticated animals that are seen as pets and other non-human animals, kind of like all other non-human animals, pretty much, including like wild animals and stuff. So, and I definitely think that it comes from that religious perspective of thinking that humans are the special creation of God and animals are just something that God put on the earth for us to, use in whatever way we want. Yeah. So it kind of sucks. Species in the chat.
Yay! It is like I don't think I think also too like there's not enough appreciation for that of people like looking at the way that they're raised, and how they're just accept things because it's what they're told. Because like we tend to leave religion's like the first step, like okay, this is all bullshit, doesn't make any sense, blah blah blah. But like this also the superiority of people, like and like this is the thing, like me and my friend Car and I've had a discussion about like we're humanists, but extending that to non-human animals, you know um it's a little different, considering when we're talking about rights and things like that. um like I don't take the PETA position that like you can't have pets. I'm like, slow your roll, honey. Like, okay.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a separate story.
I think there can be a balance that we do have domesticated animals, like we raise dogs and like and bred them to like be companions to us, and like for some reason cats decided that like, hey, I would like to hang around with these beings because they could be food and scritches. So, I think we can have discussions about that. But I do, but especially like using animals as commodities. I think there's definitely a more nuanced conversation we can have about that. But then it opens up other ethical questions about like, okay, like let's say we make everything synthetic. We're not using animal byproducts. That leads into stripping of natural resources. So what does that mean? And like there's all these different like ethical sort of nuanced questions that don't have like a straight answer. But I do think that you can, since
we can get there.
Our diets, if you have the ability to like, change your diet, that you're not eating animal products, as whatever that looks like, or eating less of them, I think that's a good thing. Even if it's not just for the that you're protecting animals, but also too is like it's just better for you health wise, if you can. But I also at the same time, some people can't, depending on certain allergies or whatever, because they might be allergic to certain because everybody's diet's different, whatever causes inflammatory responses and stuff like that. Yes, nuance. Everything is nuance.
Yeah. Individualized. Yeah, like these decisions have to be individualized. Like if you're able to, if you have the financial ability, the health ability, like as far as genetics, then why not? Like it is minimizing animal harm. I think another really big misconception that people have is thinking that vegans want a zero harm way of eating. That's impossible. That's unreasonable. There is no zero harm way of eating. Okay, even veganism has a little bit of harm, but it's not about having zero harm. It's about having less harm. And so,
right.
I mean, just like when we think about humanism and treating the way we treat other humans, like sometimes there isn't a way to go about making sure that you're not harming any other person in any other way, in an emotional way or something. Like sometimes you may cause somebody harm, but it's not something that you're doing willingly or like, on purpose. So the same should go with eating these animals. Like if you can purposefully reduce the harm that you're causing, then good for you.
And I think harm reduction is the goal. Like there was a time like when I was younger, I didn't consider the nuance of things, and it was definitely like an all or nothing approach. And that because it was like, okay, well, we're gonna get rid of all factory farming. Okay. Now, granted, farmers have a huge unaliving themselves statistic compared to other people in the
Yeah,
population. Huge. It's really fucked up.
yeah,
Like the because of corporations and just this whole producing food for the masses and all that type of stuff. Like it's a whole thing. But that aside, if let's just say you work for Tyson, okay, and that's all like you're part of the Tyson family, and you have all these farms that you have to run, and you're brought up in this family, or you raise chickens. It's the only thing you know how to do is raise some fucking chickens, and that is your family's legacy, and that's the only thing you know how to do. It's like, what are you going to do to help those people if we take away the chicken farming guys? Like, are you going to offer new job training? Are you going to offer a way for people to easily transition away from that form of work? Like, it's not, I think for people that are, again, nuance, it's not easy to because like ideally this is Helen's ideal world, that we help people transition into more sustainable ways of living, so they're not killing chickens on a regular basis as part of their job, because I have to imagine you're going to get attached to some of the chickens. It's still a living, like you have to compartmentalize, and I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could just randomly like kill my food. And I think that's also a part of it too, that we have such a separation from our food now. Like I'm not thinking about the chicken that existed, because I think chickens are really fucking cute. It existed,
like what's on your plate.
I'm having chicken breast. I'm having a chicken breast sandwich with honey mustard sauce, and I'm super like I'm getting all the dopamine from eating it. I'm not thinking about the cute little chicken it was before, or probably over processed, full of hormones, that are beyond its natural level. It's just very interesting. Like,
yeah, but what you just said, it really is a good point. Like we really have to find ways to make sure that these people that are, that only know that one type of job can transition to a different kind of job that is more sustainable for everybody. Yeah, that's very true. But like, because I feel like tradition or something that we've been taught is normal, or generational, career shouldn't define what we do next. Like, let's say somebody grows up around a drug addict parent, and that person's parents were also drug addicts or alcoholics or whatever. Does that mean that that child has to, be a drug addict? No, like break the cycle. Make sure that you help support that person to not go down that path, to take a different road. And the same should be for like, okay, your mom grew up in a farm, your grandparents grew up in a farm, you grew up in a farm. If you don't want to cause animals harms, you don't have to work in that farm. Like there should be resources, more, I guess, incentive maybe from the government or from whatever system we figure out.
The government.
Yeah.
This is the ideal world where we're not living in late fascism.
Not this government. That's not gonna happen.
Another timeline.
AJ,
where a government actually is working for the people. That timeline.
Right, just like you had Helen's perfect world, this is AJ's perfect world.
Right, like, yeah, what's your ideal world?
Right, like where we have like, I don't know, think of like Sweden or somewhere like that, where they have really good socialist. Oh, I said socialist.
I just, you know what I want? You know what I want? I want the food standards of, like, England or the UK, like, or Sweden, like in places that are like, hey, don't put microplastics in food. Like, I want that. Like, where I
Exactly.
can pronounce everything on the package. Like,
Listen, the World Health Organization said like in 2011, when my kid was born in 2011 and they're about to turn 14, so this was like 14 years ago. They said that if the world does not turn toward a plant-based diet, then we are going to have a crisis of food and environmental issues
yeah.
on our hands. And this is like the organization that's leading in world health. Okay, it's not just some random person that said it. They've repeated
Oh,
it recently.
and look what's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
We have
And
a lot of
then
food insecurity.
yeah. But then you have places like okay, my parents were telling me about this the other day. My mom was telling me that their food pyramid got changed recently up there in Germany and Switzerland, and it no longer includes red meat. So the red meat is no longer in the food pyramid, and the meat got downgraded to like smaller amounts. So you're supposed to eat smaller amounts of meat. They're more like a whole lot more, sort of like more like a Mediterranean diet, where they're like more like fish and poultry and stuff like that. So they're trying to move towards that a little bit. So I mean, that's something that the US could learn from, but they're not going to because, like you
Well,
said,
I think also too, like, we know that like reducing refined sugars is good for your diet. It's going especially if you, since type 2 diabetes is a real problem, just in the American diet, that replacing certain oils, like replacing vegetable oil with like oil or like a nut oil,
like
fiber,
seed and nut oil,
like
stuff like that.
like like most of you, like instead of even like, for like, I love sweet potatoes. I've replaced like eating white potatoes with like sweet potatoes, and like kind of looking at your food as like a variety of different things rather than like, a sandwich and a side of chips. Not that I have a sandwich with a side of chips tonight? Yes, I did. But I had it on whole grain bread and I also added some vegetables. So
That's funny.
take that. So, but, um,
Yeah,
and my potatoes were fried in avocado oil. So take that. So,
good.
is it healthy? No, but it's better. It's a little better. It's still
Yeah,
fried.
but I
But also,
mean,
like, you have to kind of look at it. Like, if you're gonna eat junk food like potato chips, like maybe doing avocado oil is better than doing like, vegetable oil. Probably is. You have to be conscious about like what you're putting in your body. And I think the more you become educated on that, the more that you're willing to not only look at your diet, but also how your diet affects larger systems as well. Like thinking about like, I'm not thinking about the chicken, but now I'm thinking about the chicken.
yeah. Yeah, and it shouldn't be just limited to, like I said earlier, to just our own personal health journey. Right? Like look at it at the way that it affects pollution and of the environment, and I don't know, all of these climate change and how it affects animals, how it affects other people around the world, not just here.
Thanks,
What
PC,
do you
about
find?
sending me the article about the enforcement of food and drug safety regulation nosedives under Trump. I'm going to probably have to put that as an MP article.
Oh,
So I'll
okay.
put that on
Yeah.
Discord.
It's from like 2019 though.
Okay, no, that's fine. Well, it's probably going to be all bad anyway.
Yeah,
From the man
probably.
that eats KFC and McDonald's, like, it's going out of fucking style.
Yeah, speaking of that, is like like I would say processed food is like one of the biggest issues of the standard American diet. Probably worse than animal products alone. Like if you were eating uh, like a typical Mediterranean diet, which includes fish and some cheese and oil and some chicken, then you're probably way healthier than you are if you're eating the standard American diet of like pizza and donuts and TV dinners for every meal.
I told myself I had a whole like this past weekend, I had Culver's and Pizza Hut.
Don't get me wrong, I love pizza.
I had a fuck you Helen diet. And then I told myself going into this week, I was like, I'm taking care of I'm like, I'm going to be watching what I put in my body this week. You know, like you can do that. Like this is the thing about balance. It's like I had a Helen fuck you diet this week, but over the weekend, because I was playing D&D and also I was kind of sad. So when so I'll eat shit. But now I was like, okay, I was like, you got that, Helen. Good for you. Now you need to like take care of yourself this week and actually eat healthy. And I was like, okay, brain. You know, like so, there's also the balance of like recognizing, like, yes, if you want to eat crap Pizza Hut pizza, eat it. But also the next day, have a salad.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. Okay, like yeah. I went from I was saying hi to Trace. Hi. Okay, so I went from the complete whole foods plant based to eating meat and junk and all that stuff, and then I was like, well, my health was going to shit again. So I kind of try to start back up. So now I try to eat really good during the week at home. I try not to eat any meat or any animal products. And then on the weekends, I kind of give myself a little bit more freedom. And if I want to have a pizza, there's some places that have really good vegan pizzas, or like, I don't know, sometimes I'll eat like fish or stuff like that I enjoy. But yeah, I try to keep that for like special occasions or like when we go out.
Listen, I am not a regular like Culver's eater. Like I don't like the most fast food I do is Starbucks, and that is and it's coffee and egg bites because their egg bites are amazing. Okay, but like I don't eat fast food. I don't go to McDonald's. I don't go to like once in a while I'll go to Wendy's because fuck yeah, I love their spicy chicken sandwich. I'm not gonna lie. Like everybody's got their thing, but I'm not eating it on a regular basis. It's like once every 3-4 months. Like there's a like if the most of my diet is like I'm okay. But I think that's the understanding of like also but I'm also very lucky because I live in an area that has a wide variety of food. Like I can go to Aldi's, I can go to Publix, I can go to Detweiler's, which is a local grocery store chain that is run by the Mennonites, and they have a really good. Their fruit and vegetable section is wicked inexpensive. So is their fish and meat section, and also they have a good variety of. Their bakery is the fucking shit. Not gonna lie. Like their bread and their blueberry cheesecake, which I always get for my birthday. It's amazing. So I'm just going to point that out. But like, because I'm lucky because I live in a very metropolitized area. Also, I'm in an area where there's a lot of like upper mobility. So you get people, businesses that want to be with us because they know we're going to spend the money. Yeah. Compared to people that live in food deserts, where your only option is like, you know, your one grocery store, which is probably Walmart, maybe, and a bunch of fast food restaurants. You're not going to get a bunch of variety of not only where you can buy your food, but kind of pick and choose. And also like have the ability to like look through your, you know, your newspaper every Sunday and figure out like who's having the best deals on what.
Yeah, so I grew up like that in Argentina. Yeah. In a way, it was better, but in a way, it wasn't. Okay, here's why. So we had that thing where it was like literally one tiny little store that was like one room, like a bedroom of a house, and that was like their whole store. So there wasn't like vegetables. I think they had potatoes, and sometimes they will have like tomatoes or stuff like that didn't need refrigeration. They had breads, and they had like some like salami and ham, cheese. They had a few fresh meats. Sometimes it was like depending on the week, I guess. And they would
Right.
get that. But it was mostly like some canned food and like oils and stuff like that. So um, um, um I'm sorry, pasta, rice, dry pasta and rice and stuff like that. So our diet was really basic, but there wasn't a lot of processed food. Like we didn't have like pizza, we didn't know about donuts and stuff like that. And they
Donuts
were like,
I mean,
yeah,
donut.
they had like these little pastries, but it was like homemade, so I guess it was a
Right.
little healthier. Like the owner of the place will make it in like in her back kitchen.
That's always the best shit though.
Right, so
Like
it was
if it like a local person is making like their little like awesome little pastry, it's usually better than anything you can get. Like it's usually just like that. Like there's this one place where this person sells empanadas out of her car. And it is the best empanadas I've ever had. Like,
oh yeah, but
yeah.
yeah. So that was the thing. Like when we moved to the United States when I was 15, my diet completely changed because I discovered junk. so so I went from eating like this really basic whole foods diet, even though it included milk, cheese, and meat. It was like meat wasn't something that we ate huge portions of. Okay, like if we had hot dogs for Christmas, I promise you this happened. Okay, we will eat hot dogs for Christmas, and it was like the best day ever. Like
I like it all. Like I like this is the thing. Like as usually as my friend's grandma used to say that hot dogs are all like snots and assholes. If you can get an actual like kosher hot dog, it's really good. But I don't eat hot dogs. Like I can't tell you
yeah.
the last time I had a hot dog. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, can I? No, I can't. I was trying.
Yeah, it's definitely been quite a while for me. But so like I went from eating that like limited but healthier whole diet to coming to America and going into high school, and like my high school food was like the pizza line and the tacos line and the I don't know, it was just like and the hamburger stand, of course, and that was like the one that I always got because I grew up with like hardly ever eating hamburger and French fries, and like McDonald's for me was like a once a year type of thing. So coming to the States, it was like I am gonna eat all the things, and unfortunately, that helped me trigger my celiac disease and type 1 diabetes. Yay!
John, our the skeptic, he said that when he first moved here from the UK, he put on 15 pounds because he was
Oh
eating all the
yeah.
things. He was just like, I was eating all the things, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And so I learned that the hard way, and I didn't really know that that was the culprit until like I said 2022 when I started looking into the whole food plant-based lifestyle or diet or whatever you want to call it, and I was like, wow, like all of this is really beneficial for my diet. So like, oh, Maya's out here, Maya Atkinson. So like I started looking at food, like you said, as fuel. And if you look at it as fuel rather than as a dopamine hit, then sometimes you can make better decisions. Like for the majority of time, I make good decisions. Okay, like for dinner today, I had a really big salad. There was like lettuce, tomato, peppers, some olives, and like all kinds of vegetables.
I have salad every day for lunch.
Yeah, and then I put
Yeah.
some fake chicken on it because I love the crispiness of it, and it's like
Yeah.
this vegan chicken that
I
I
didn't
found that has a really good texture. So I was
But
like, all right,
because like I want to enjoy what I'm eating. Like I love I don't like today I always buy like salad kits because they're super easy for me at work because I get 2 meals out of them, and I buy like 2 week and then I'll have another day where I bring leftovers. And then during the weekend it's kind of like and the thing is though, like my Adderall suppresses my appetite. So um I don't eat breakfast all the time, which is bad. I know nobody's heard me.
Sometimes I
Actually,
leave
no,
breakfast, but
okay,
not
you know what?
lunch.
Here's my theory. Here's my theory. This is my theory. I don't know if this is a thing, but like, you know how people have different sleep cycles? Like, I feel like that should be the same for like breakfast eaters. like if I can get through the morning with just coffee and not eat till 12:30 like I usually do, I'm fine.
Yeah, my husband's the same way. He never eats breakfast. Sometimes even on the weekends, I'll be
And
like,
then
"Hey, can I cook you some pancakes or something?" I'm good. Like he hardly
well,
ever
also
eats breakfast.
too, like I'm not hungry when I wake up in the morning, um and because I take Adderall, like I just don't have like when I do go to Starbucks, I get their egg bites because they're really fucking good. Like I'm sorry, they have these egg bites that are like they have potatoes and chives and cheddar cheese in them, and they're amazing. I'm not gonna lie, but everybody's got their thing. But on a typical morning, I just have coffee and I just go to work, and then I don't eat till 12:30 because my body doesn't need it. And also I sit at a desk. It's not
Yeah,
like,
so you don't
I'm
burn
on my feet
anything.
and walking. When I worked retail, I definitely eat breakfast more. Now I don't because like I sit at a desk. And
Yeah,
I think that that's another thing that we can have a discussion about not just not on veganism, about like what is your energy level, what do you need, what do you need to fuel your body, because like I don't need to consume as many calories as someone that's doing a very like physical labor job. I sit at a desk and look at a computer and make phone calls all day.
yeah, that
And
was
fuck
one of my
around
problems
and fuck
when,
around the internet.
right? That's our life. Yeah, no,
That's a yeah, like the
that was my problem when I started gaining some weight. It was like I was eating for the sake of being like, hey, I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was like sort of like a mental thing, like, oh, I have to eat this. But I wasn't really. I noticed that I wasn't really hungry sometimes when I was eating. I was just eating because I thought I was supposed to be eating. And so now I just do like in the morning I'll wake up hungry and then I sit on my computer. So I'll bring my food over here and eat it kind of slowly. And
mhm.
then sometimes I'll just, like most days now, I skip lunch just because I'm doing other stuff. Oh, excuse me. So like my breakfast will last me until like dinner time, or sometimes I'll eat like earlier dinner. Like today I ate it like at 4, I think. And
Mhm.
I mean, I'm still good. It's 8 now, and I'm not really hungry or anything. So I probably won't eat until morning again. But that's why I feel hungry in the morning because I ate my dinner early, and so. But
I don't
now
eat
it's like
dinner.
two
Sometimes I
meals.
don't
Yeah,
eat dinner until like 8, 9 o'clock. Like
yeah.
Todd got home like around 6:30, and he went to the grocery 6 o'clock. I get home about 6 because my commute's about 45 minutes. He came home and he has to make sandwiches, so I was like, okay, I'll make myself. But sometimes if he cooks, I'm not eating till 8 or 9. So and that's why this whole um like having a regular food schedule doesn't work. Just because of the way that we live our lives. And it's not anything good or bad because like there's plenty of like snacky stuff. Like if I'm hungry, I'll have like a few bites of hummus, like pita chips with like hummus to kind of just like tie me over, or a granola bar, or like a piece of fruit, just so I can
Yeah.
like, okay, like I'm home, let me get something in my stomach so I can like get till dinner. And then I eat dinner, but I'm only eating about 2 meals and a snack a day. Because I'm not hungry. I'm
Yeah, and
just
I
not.
mean, I think that's the good thing, like to follow your hunger cues rather than eat just because you think you're supposed to be eating. Like, yeah, like sure, okay, let me get this straight, okay? Like there are people that don't have hunger cues, and so they should be reminding themselves to eat because otherwise they wouldn't eat. My kid is one of those people, okay? It took them for almost 14 years to ever tell me I'm hungry. I swear, when they told me very recently, like a few months ago, they came in the kitchen and told me that they were hungry. I was like, "Who is this child?" And like,
Well,
I
also
will.
to be fair, he's a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, I think that like they finally reached that
Because
age
okay,
of growth.
as
You know.
I will tell you, as someone that my oldest has autism, he was very weird about food up to about the point he became a teenager, and then all of a sudden he got a bottomless pit for his stomach. So like, because they grow so fast during that time,
Yeah.
they're burning all this energy, their hormones are going nutty nutso, so they start eating a lot. and
And they're
and I bet
stretching
also
upwards.
too, I bet also too, like I like this might happen, that your son is also going to start eating different foods that he wasn't eating before, because he's like, I'm just hungry.
I
And
hope
you can get
so.
him to try stuff. Like you can be like, just try it. Like that. This is my like. This is the attitude I think is really. This is just in general. This doesn't have anything to do with like veganism or anything like that. Just get somebody to try something. Just go. Just take one bite. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, fine. You don't have to eat it ever again. I don't care. But like, it's getting them to, because I think that was my parents' attitude. Like if I didn't like something, I wasn't forced to eat it.
Yeah.
But if I liked it, I started eating a lot more. Like there was a time when I was younger, I didn't like broccoli, and then like right around my teenage years, my dad was like, "Well, let's just have some broccoli, just try it again." And I found that I liked it again, and I've been eating it ever since. Where but also there's other things like cauliflower. I still think cauliflower is gross. I'm not eating it. Also peas and olives, they're all disgusting.
I
and
love
and
olives.
collard greens, gross, it's slimy. Not eating
Yeah, I'm not a
it.
fan.
I'm not a southerner, so like my husband's a southerner, and like they like the like collard greens and stuff like that. I'm not. I'm a Yankee. We don't.
Yeah, I only eat like spinach and kale, but kale
Maya's
only
here.
has to
Hi,
be a
Maya.
special.
Maya's
Oh yeah.
here. Yay.
Yeah,
Maya, you have to come on my channel. I'm gonna bug you.
I know.
Anyway, sorry.
She will. She will.
I
I
know.
was on her
I
channel
know,
one
because she's
time.
amazing.
It was so fun.
Yeah, this is really fun. I'm sorry, we got kind of off in the weeds, but like, this is I feel like there's a lot of other stuff we could have dived into with this topic. I would love to have Dan on, and we can have like a 3-ring about veganism. I think that'd be really, really interesting. So that's something I might have to plan.
Oh yeah, I already had him on my channel talking about veganism right before his wedding. So he said he will come back. So
Well, did they do like a whole vegan, like I wasn't invited to the wedding, but like, because
I think
we're occasional friends. We're like periphery friends. Like,
okay, mine was an accidental invitation, okay? Because his wife and I talked at the bath tour, and then we connected on Facebook and stuff, and we talked and chatted. And then one day Jason Friedman was making a joke that he was going to crash the wedding. And so I posted on one of her posts that we were gonna crash the wedding, and she was like, "Well, you guys need to come." So that's how I got invited. I told him I would crash the wedding. That's how it
like,
works.
well, also too, I don't hang out in crew chat as much as I used to, because I do during the week. I'm really busy, and my husband loves me and wants to spend time with me. So, and I try to do stuff on the weekends with my real life friends. So, on the weekends, I tend not to. I'll do a little bit of my like atheist, like community activism shit, but for the most part, I try to keep my weekends like
Yeah.
to my friends, to my family, because I have to have a balance.
Yay.
So I miss crew chat, but also at the same time, I want my husband to love me.
Right, exactly. Gotta have that balance.
Yeah, like he's the provider of the sex and the love, and telling me that I'm amazing. So
Gotta keep him
henceforth,
happy.
That's really important.
Yeah. But anyway, so
so
yeah, we can make it work like a
look at me. We
3.
talk all the fucking time anyway. So
Yeah.
so where can people find you? It's also in doobly doo, but remind the people.
Well, my Ways to Human channel is the place where I'm at mostly. I'm trying to do like the okay, right there. Anyway,
Yep.
so actually, I have a show tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central. I want to say
Who's
it
gonna be on your
is.
show tomorrow?
Oh, are you have a show tomorrow or not?
No, who's gonna be on your show tomorrow?
Oh, okay. It's gonna be Chase Avior. Are you familiar with him? He calls sometimes the Talk Hidden or AXP.
Is he on the Discord?
He is. Yeah, he's
Okay,
usually
I
like
think that's where I know
in
his
the
name from.
after shows. And he has his own channel, which is bigger than my channel anyway. And but he agreed to come on mine.
It's the constantly putting out content and getting people like, please subscribe.
Right. Yeah.
Give me attention.
But so we're gonna talk about veganism, but we're gonna keep it specific to like the different methods that vegan activism goes. Like sometimes, having conversations like this, right? Like totally chill and random, and then sometimes being like in your face, like showing you videos of like what harm you're causing to animals and stuff like that. So we're gonna have a talk about why people see vegans as like extreme, or what we can do about helping people not see vegans as the bad guys. And yeah, like talk about his history in the vegan activism, because he does a lot of activism. Like he will go to like slaughterhouses and like protest in front of them, or like save animals. Like he's a really like badass guy. So I'm excited to have him. We're going to talk about like the more controversial parts of veganism. So it's gonna be fun.
I will say that like I do kind of get pissed off at people that are very much into animal like rights and protection as like extreme, and I'm just like okay, like yes, I recognize I'm selfish. I 100% recognize that, and it's fine. But also at the same time, it's like, well, what do you if let's just say like somebody was like torturing cats.
Yeah.
And they were making like a huge big stink about it, would you be like, well, like, would you tell them not to make a big stink about torturing cats? Like, why are we putting like cats, like chickens and cows and pigs into like the, also pigs are so cute. I'm sorry. Like,
I know.
Like one of my friends had a potbelly pig growing up, and her, she was so cute. Like I do love animals. Like they're so cute.
Yeah.
But I also know I'm selfish. I can recognize both.
Yeah.
But I don't like this idea like people are extreme. Like unless they're doing terrorist shit, like leave it alone. Like because that's the only way we're gonna be make change if people are making a fucking stink.
Yeah, like think about it this way, okay? Like you said earlier, you won't eat Chick-fil-A, for example, because it's something that's very dear and near to you. It's like a cause that you believe in very deeply, right? And it triggers you if somebody is fucking around with your people. And Chase, like his cause is veganism, and so he may not be gay. I mean, he may not, I don't know, may not have any family that's LGBTQ or anything like that. So like his trigger may be animal rights. And so that's what he protests for. Like there's people that protest for women's rights, and people that protest Teslas, and like
right, everybody's got their thing. Like
everybody has
mine's women's rights and LGBTQ rights. That's my thing. Like that I'm gonna make a big fucking stink about, because it's all, we're all in it together.
Yeah, like for me, it's those plus add disability rights. Like so, it's like everybody has their own thing based on like their life experiences, right? You okay? Are you okay?
I was sitting crisscross applesauce, and I let my knee down, and I'm like, oh, and then the 48-year-old knee was like, ow. Like I decided to stretch my knee, and it was like, oh no, you can't sit crisscross applesauces, but like as a regular person anymore, Helen.
Right, yeah, like when I stand up after the show, I'm gonna feel it.
Like I started wearing a back brace, like, because some days this isn't nerve related, this is muscle related, because I sit all day and I'm in a car for an hour and a half to 2 hours every day. So I'm in my car, I am sitting 10 plus hours. Plus, when I get home, do I want to do anything? Fuck no. So I'm sitting. It's not so bad at home, but but sometimes my back pain flares up, and I start wearing a back brace. And my doctor's like, you need to start exercising. I'm like, yeah,
like that. I exercise in my mind.
I watch. What I'm gonna do, I think, this is my reasoning in my brain, is that I'm gonna change my diet, get my hormone levels figured out, and then I'll start incorporating exercise. This is the way that I work. I can't do it all at once. I gotta do a little incremental steps. Plus, it's summer in Florida and it's fucking hot. It's really hard to go outside and go for walks. It's so gross right now.
Yeah,
so horrible. You live in Texas, you know.
I know. We can barely step
out. So we can commiserate about crappy weather together. So
yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna human. So I'm shutting the show down. All right, everybody. So Wednesday I'm having Jason and Jeff. They're both Canadians, and they are the organizers of BajaCon. So they will be here on Wednesday to talk. We're going to talk about BajaCon and O Canada. So we're gonna and then. Thursday, Glenn Martin, the Cross Examiner, will be here. Probably talking about American law and crazy shit. So that's coming up. So that's what's coming up this week. So if you would like to be on the show, email me here. If you want to be on AJ's show, email her there. There. Over there. So email her over there. You can find please like and subscribe and share. And do the things. So do that. Also as well, if you have any suggestions, also please email me. You don't have to be a guest, but if you feel like you know someone that would be cool to be on my show, also email me. That is it. Oh, also AG is going to be on the nonprofits for next week because they're recording Wednesday night. I will be recording next week for the following week. So please subscribe to the nonprofits because it's been nonprofits week all this week. I had Jimmy on last week. I had Cynthia on. I had Richard on, and I had you on. So it's nonprofits all around, motherfuckers.
And this week
nonprofits is the best show on the ACA because we're on it.
Yeah, and this week we're talking about the Pope. So that'll be fun.
I'm talking about the Pope. Okay, so my theory is that JD Vance did unalive the Pope.
Right? Yeah, he's like,
I just love
you got it. Go.
Okay, I hate the Pope. The Pope's got problems with the fact that he told JD Vance that he was a bad Catholic. I was just like, as a former Catholic, I'm like,
I heard that he had one of his people talk to JD Vance about compassion.
Yeah,
when he was up there. I was like,
oh. Well, also too, he tried to the Pope. Okay, there is some he tried to get the church to be more progressive. Didn't do as much as I thought he should do because he was the fucking leader of it. But it's complicated. But I also realized that I'm not in this camp because I'm an atheist. But to be more inclusive to people from the queer community, that's always because there are people in the queer community that are Catholic that you have we're doing there. I feel like he was trying to do his best, but it was not his best. It's complicated.
Yeah, definitely not his best, but
not his best. He gave a good try. He gave a college try. But regardless of my feelings about the Pope, I just love that he like told Shady fans off. Like I just
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
that like I
Like
love it.
like at least he made it until he could tell him off, and that's
Right.
great.
Like he was and then he died. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna hold out.
He was hanging on for that. I
I'm
wish
gonna
he'd
tell
been
you you're
able
a
to tell.
terrible being. I'm like, oh, thank you, Pope Francis. Thank you, Pope
Yeah.
Francis. Thank you. Anyway, so
All right.
we're gonna,
Now we're
well,
done.
here,
Now we're done.
we talk about, and the other panel, let's talk about the Pope. Subscribe to the nonprofits. That is it. Okay, so I'm shutting down, y'all. Otherwise, be kind, be skeptical, give someone a compliment this week, and I will see you all on Wednesday. So, good night, everybody. Bye.